Going to stay alive for a few minutes, just so that can populate maybe find a few people that are willing to check out this stream. So we will hang out here at the replay screen. Welcome. Bitrate. And bitrate on Twitch isn't looking that good, at least according to Twitch, but everything seems fine. Yeah. I'm not sure what that's about. Everything is green, so I'm gonna proceed as though there's absolutely nothing wrong. If there are stream quality issues, like always, please let me know in chat. If maybe it's getting sketchy or volume is off or something like that, do not hesitate to let me know. I would rather fix it than not. Today, we have casting practice. This video will not be chopped up and uploaded as an individual video. We're just gonna have the live stream for this one. Cause I've never casted a goddamn game in my entire life. That's right. Brand new at this. And once I get my fucking desk and room cleaned up, which it should be pretty much spotless in this coming week, where the family is setting aside a whole day to just get everything cleaned up, so I'll be able to enable the camera so that you can see my stupid face. Alright, about 2 minutes 30. At about, I'll say 3 minutes, so in 30 seconds, we're gonna go ahead and start this game off. And we'll see just how good my first attempt at this sort of stream will be. By the way, the name of the channel will be changing to the Betagonist, so that way, if you see me in the future, it won't be Space Captain B on Twitch. It's already changed on YouTube, so I like that name better. 3 minutes has hit. Let's waste no more time. It is time to begin the first cast, my first cast of any game, Beyond All Reason. Yeah, prepare myself. Over the horizon, the heads of the robotic commanders can be seen silhouetted against the sky. The battlefield. A blank canvas, ready to be painted, with craters and the smoldering wreckage of both of these armies. We are watching an 8v8 today. We are watching it at the Strait. This is two opposing land masses with a land bridge in between. A South Sea and North Sea that are not joined in any way. Multiple smaller land masses about, spread out in the area of both seas. The players are still connecting, so we'll stand by. I'll be referring to the cold colors, that's the purples, greens, and blues, as the blue team, and the oranges, pinks, and reds as the red team. The players are almost all connected. Now, the way Beyond All Reason works is you have to kill all of your opponent's commanders. Each team has, each player has their own commander unit. That is their initial building unit. That's the chat, in case you're not watching. That is the chat messages, they are talking. Got couple of guys on blue team chatting about what to do in this game. On the blue team, Brand Tutran, Fatter Cow, Alex Clark, Watch Me Do This, Babamba, Whippy, Ceremos, and Filsock. And on the blue team, Fatal Baguette, Thump, Shiny Squirrel, Bagoon, Rinwin, Orlog, Artanix, and Coco the Freak. We have plenty of chat going on between the various teams right now. This is a particularly casual game. There's nothing special about it. It's not a tournament game or anything, but we do have some powerful players here. With Brand2Tran ranked 36. On the other team, the highest player, Fatal Baguette, at 29. The game has not started yet. They've all selected their starting locations. It's just they're doing their plans. On the screen, you can see, watch me do this. Drawing a line on the battlefield, demarcating where he's going to set up his initial push. And the players are calling to go. We might see the round start here. And the game begins. Commanders all spawn in. On the blue team, watch me do this. Fatter Cow and Babamba, the main frontline players. They'll be the ones mostly involved with battling on the straight. Brand2Tran on the blue team. Access to the South Sea. To the north, Filsock. For the blue team, access to the North Sea. Alex Clark and Whippy are the support players in the back line. And Ceremos is more of the kind of auxiliary player. No specific advantage from his position. On the other side, we have Forlog, Rinwin, and Coco the Freak as the main frontline players. Artanix is going to be the auxiliary. Stomp, access to North Sea. Fatal Baguette, access to the South Sea. And Bagoon and Shiny Squirrel are the support players. Already some sharing going on. In this game, you can share resources, both energy and metal, which are the primary resources. Brand2Tran is sharing metal to Ceremos, and Fatal Baguette sharing metal to Coco the Freak. Some more metal going to Ceremos, so he's going to be building up quite quickly, I think, here. At the center, first units are hitting the field. Forlog in pink. Well, pinkish. Sort of salmon color. Putting out the first tick. It's a little fast scout bot. Roaming around the middle of the map. Watch me do this, pulling his commander forward. He is the frontline man for the opposing team. Now, there's no unity. Oh, there we go. Okay, watch me do this. Gonna get a scout bot out. Orlog might get a free snipe on in a Mex here. That's right. You hear me say Mex? That is metal extractor. They need that. They're very fragile, very easy to destroy. A single scout can make quick work of them, so we already have the first Mex going down. Orlog is going to run 2 more scouts in. Watch me do this. Answers with a tick, but it's not going to be enough. He has no static defense at the base, so he's going to lose another metal extractor, and he's already in a bad spot here. Chases the scouts out. Took some damage there. Good damage. Definitely worth that raid. Forlog doing a good job here. Right now, watch me do this. Currently chasing Forlog's scout around. Will get taken out by Babamba's commander. Each commander outfitted with a laser and a disintegrator gun capable of one-hitting anything in the game. So very important unit. It's also capable of cloaking. And so you have a one-hit cannon that can cloak. It is very expensive to run cloak, though, and obviously if you lose your commanders, you're going to be in a bad position. Watch me do this. Is approaching the middle of the map, building static defense right in front of Forlog's defense. Forlog's commander is also up front. We have watch me do this in light blue and Forlog and salmon over here, dueling it. Fatter Cow coming in now. That's green. 2 commanders point blank on Forlog right now. Rinwin, off the Forlog's right. The strait is about to get real hot. In the bottom, the South Sea. Fatale Baguette. I'm just going to call him Baguette because it's a little easier. It's taking over the South Sea right now, running multiple corvettes into Brand Tutran's naval base, but he does have enough defenses to repel the first attack. In the north, Whippy, the support player, has self-destructed his commander in order to salvage the 2,000 metal that the commander leaves behind. That's right. Dead units leave resources. You can salvage their wreck for additional metal. It's very important that you do so. In the north, we have a Blitz tank, very fast tank, by Rinwin, getting in. Takes out the opposition scout that was trying to hunt him down. He's going to go for Philsock's base. How much damage is he going to get done? He's taking out the... There's nothing to stop this at all right now. Philsock is all C. He's just going to lose all of this here. Okay, here we go. Pavama coming in with a scout. We'll take out that tank. At the middle, we have a lot of jousting here. Rocket bots, good at outranging turrets. Or Forlog. There's no other rocket bots over here. Theramose has a few grunts. That's very basic initial fast attack infantry. Fatter Cow's taking a lot of hits here. His commander is now under half health. The rocket barrage is really slamming home and causing some damage here. Watch me do this. Pulls forward some pawns, but nothing to outrange the rockets of Forlog right now. And finally, Fatter Cow brings in a Lasher, the missile truck. It will be able to outrange these rocket bots, so he'll get pulled. He'll have to pull those back. It's going to be a jousting match, but he's only got one missile truck for the 5 rocket bots that are over here, so he's going to need to micro that. His tanks are taking a lot of beating right now. In the North Sea, the first conflict is about to begin. Stomp has a stealth patrol boat moving in to scout Philsock's base. Philsock already has a pretty competent navy built up. In the South Sea, Lagoon has actually taken the far bottom right island base. It's got some extra metal extraction points on it. He's building... Brand Tutran, Blue, is about to walk up that island straight into static defense with his commander. I think he was, I don't think he realizes it's been completely taken. He doesn't. He should see that there's at least an aircraft there right now. He's got vision of that, but not much else. So he's about to find out the hard way. But Brand Tutran and Fatal Baguette here in the South Sea, trading blows between various ships. Baguette has destroyers. So that's going to be your primary, heavier, Tier 1 combat ship. Brand Tutran's corvettes. Cheaper, faster. Not as well armored or armed. Brand Tutran ran up and just degunned the static defense here. And he's going to take over that island completely. At the middle, on the land bridge, rocket shots being traded. Tons and tons of firepower being unleashed here at the middle at the very beginning of the game. We're only 7 minutes in. Fatter Cow and Watch Me Do This lined up on one side. Forlog and Rinwin lined up on the other. Trading shots like it's the freaking 1700s here. Rocket bots lined up, taking volleys. There's no static D. Most of it has been taken out. Oh, there is one Beamer on Forlog's side, but it is taking rocket fire, so... Beamer is a medium defense turret, Tier 1. A lot more damage than the basic turret. Also a little harder to kill, but still outranged, I think, by these rocket bots. Fatale Baguette is walking his commander past the strait, past the land bridge, up into Watch Me Do This's base. There is nothing here to stop this. Brand Tutran marks the map, trying to call it out. Whippy also calling for help here. I think he's going to detonate. I think he's going to detonate his commander in the base. Maybe not. Oh, he goes in, he deguns, takes out the factory. Some opposing units coming in to try and deal with this, and he's going to disappear back into the sea. This is going to be a problem for him, because if there's anything that has torpedoes... Well, currently he's still above water, so that might be it for him. I think he might have, overextended here. His navy is all the way south. He did not bring anything forward to support his commander. His commander goes down, buried into the sea. Falls to the ocean floor, a smoldering wreck. To be recovered. Blue side has total control of that zone right now. So they might be able to recover that commander. That's 2,000 metal collected very quickly. At the middle. Artillery and rockets on both sides here. Watch Me Do This has built a forward factory. Got vehicles coming out of that area. They're a little bit outnumbered, though. This is not a good fight for the blue team frontmen. Fatter Cow and Watch Me Do This. Not really... Fatter Cow's not really microing his units a lot either. He's taking a lot of rocket shots. He might be preoccupied building his base. Non-stop units coming forward. He's got a tier 2. Got a tier 2 constructor. Somebody... Oh, does he have it? No. Somebody gifted it to him, so somebody on the blue team is producing tier 2 units. Gifted him a tier 2 constructor. You can give units in this game. And he's building up advanced metal extractors, which give 4 times the metal. So his economy is about to scale quite quickly, and he's going to need it because Forlog and Rinwin currently have, I would say, a more commanding position of the middle. Watch Me Do This. Trying to reclaim the commander. Trying to reclaim Baguette's commander, but he goes down too. So Watch Me Do This as commander, now sitting right next to the remaining wreckage of Fatal Baguette's commander. And is he rezzing, or... Oh, Babamba runs in and just simply starts salvaging somebody else's commander. You can resurrect the commander. That's generally a desirable thing to do, but Babamba is just simply like, nah, you don't deserve that. I'm taking that. What's going on in the North Sea? It's been pretty quiet up here. We got Philsock and Somp opposing each other with their navies. Decently powerful navies on either side. I think Philsock has a disadvantage here. There's definitely more ships for Somp. Got 3 assault frigates, 4 destroyers, and a patrol boat with sonar coming in. Philsock's units are in a long, spread out line here. They're not gonna be able to collapse on this army. Somp is gonna be able to take that fight. In the South Sea, Baguette and Brand-Tutran. Brand-Tutran for the blue team has pretty much routed Fatal Baguette's navy completely. And he's going to move in and start dealing damage to the base here. Back at the Strait. It's craters and artillery. The story has not changed much. Lines have barely moved here. But some more infrastructure and Static D is finally being built for the red team, Forlog, making sure that there's some position to fall back to if needed. Rinwin's forward position for the blue team, sorry, the red team. Also, yep, plenty of Static D for him as well. So there's a strong position to fall back on. Fatter Cow and Watch Me Do This do not have many... Oh, sorry, my alarm's going off. Alright. Apologies. It's okay, that's why we do practice runs. Alright. Let's check out the field. Up in the north. As expected, Somp's approach on Philsock's navy, completely taking it out. Philsock unable to respond quickly with all of his units spread out as they were. Somp is now dealing damage to the base. Red team has pretty much taken control of the North Sea. In the south, Baguette's entire navy and his naval base is pretty much gone. There is nothing to really stop this. Therefore, blue team will take control of the South Sea, and they're immediately using it. Amphibious units by Babamba coming in. We got fast attack hovercraft coming in on the sea. However, Coco the Freak did set up some static defense there. They kill all of them. There's still some hovercraft. However, Babamba is going to consolidate his force, maybe come in one bigger group. But that was good foresight by Coco there, setting up those shore defenses. In the middle, unyielding artillery. Listen to this. Let's get a look at that without the HUD, shall we? Absolutely ridiculous. This is why I love watching games at this map. The fights, the land battle at the middle is always insane. There's always tons and tons of ordnance being exchanged between the two teams. I love it. It's one of my favorite maps to watch. Now, blue team drawing some symbols there, leading from the South Sea inland. Baguette is still alive. He's producing a tier 2 bot lab now. And he still has an advanced metal extractor, so he has a decent metal income. Not very good, though. He's already expended his metal, so it's going to take a while for him to really capitalize on that. Stomp, on the other hand, complete control of the North Sea. Alex Clark. Oh, it looks like Philsock was eliminated or left the game. Alex Clark took over his base. You can claim... if somebody leaves the game, you can actually take their units. If you type /take in chat. So he has taken Alex Clark's units. Philsock simply giving up, even though he had a decent land base here. Could have definitely fought that. Somp, now with total control of the North Sea, is going to start moving towards the land bridge. Taking pot shots with some of his destroyers there. Artanix with a massive amphibious force of Seekers. That's fast attack craft here. Not particularly well armored, but he does have a large swarm of them. He has 62 floating across the sea right now, maybe going to attack into purple Alex Clark, where Philsock's base used to be. At the land bridge, Brand Tutran has some destroyers. He hasn't parked at the land bridge and is simply bombarding from the shore, but he only has 2 over there, so not a whole lot of damage being put out. In the north, we have a battle between Babamba's hovercraft and Artanix's fast attack hovercraft Swarm. However, he's got support from Somp's Navy, so this swarm of hovercraft is going to go down for sure. No, not quite. They get to shore just in time. Somp's Navy not quite in position to deal out any real damage to them, so he managed to get some of his attack craft out. Brand Tutran is going to mark the area where the Navy, where Somp's Navy is at. Current state of the battle, Brand Tutran in blue currently controls the entire South Sea. Somp in yellow controls the entire North Sea. Both sides running their ships all around that area. The resource islands in the top left and the bottom right taken by respective teams. And in the middle, it's still Fatter Cow. Now Ceremos is there. And Watch Me Do This. Although Watch Me Do This is a little bit concerned right now. The hovercraft attack comes in. Artanix's hovercraft, get in. Do a little damage and get out. Can't really stay there too long. The artillery line is taking shots at them. Watch Me Do This. Turns his artillery around and starts laying down some fire on it into the ocean. It looks like Red is taking a more commanding position of the middle here. Although Rinwin has very few units to spare for this battle. Except he does have... well, no, they're all stouts. So medium tanks. Nothing too impressive at the moment. Something very large just exploded, but I'm not quite sure what it was. I'm looking around for any commander wreckage. I don't see any, though. Ah, I see. Okay. It's a, it is a Haven. We got longbow missile cruisers in the South Sea for Brand Tutran, as well as an aircraft carrier. So, he is bombarding Coco the Freak's defensive line right now. The static defense down on the South Sea shore is now gone. And that's going to give Brand Tutran some space, but he doesn't have much hovercraft, so it's just going to be shore bombardment for now. In the north, there's a swarm of air superiority fighters currently in control of Whippy. Running that anti-air, but there isn't really much air to speak of. Both teams have a lot of anti-air. They're not utilizing bombers right in this moment. However, Shiny Squirrel, the air player on the other side. Oh, big hits. Big hits on Coco the Freak. That base just ate big damage right there. But it's not going to go unpunished. Artanix is coming into Brand-2-Tran's Navy, and he's just going to jump on him with this entire hovercraft army. He almost gets the carrier. Doesn't focus fire the carrier, though. He's going to go after the majority of the military instead. And it's a total flank. These hovercraft units completely enveloping some of the destroyers. He turns away, though. He's trying to salvage the rest. He doesn't want to spend all of his military in one strike. And so he's running the hovercraft away now. Meanwhile, Brand-2-Tran is pointing out where the hovercraft are going. Artanix's hovercraft heading straight into the blue side shore. The Fiends are going to get up on that. Flamethrower riot control bots absolutely melting. That entire hovercraft force is gone. Just simply wiped from the face of the earth. In the middle, out of what is happening? Well, let me tell you what's happening. Watch me do this. Ran a whole attack force straight into Forlog's compound, absolutely destroying almost everything. Forlog's commander is still alive, but the base is simply gone. Forlog has no production right now on the front. He begins production of a tier 2 bot lab. That gives blue team a strong control here over the center. Although Coco the Freak's tier 2 units are at the front. They are dishing out some serious damage, but Ceramos coming in with a whole swarm of fiends. Laying down flamethrower. I was going to say flamethrower fire, but that's a little redundant. In the South Sea, there is a massive navy right now for Brand-2-Tran, but a lot of it is in the Skater anti-air boat, so he is trying to make sure his navy is reasonably well protected. Doesn't have a huge surface army. In the north, Stomp. He's at the land bridge. Artanix, down in the South Sea, with another hovercraft force, gonna run straight into this military, or the navy of Brand-2-Tran. Significantly more surface ship this time for Tran. So Artanix hovercraft not really going to be able to do a whole lot here. They're dishing out a decent amount of damage, but it's not nearly enough. Brand-2-Tran doesn't lose anything significant in that battle. Tran has set up his missile boats right off the shore in a dangerous position. Bagoon setting up with strategic bombers. These torpedo bombers are about to come in. The anti-air of Tran's Navy starts firing, but all those torpedoes go. And down goes the one missile boat, gets taken out. Too many missiles spent on one target, though. Not a whole lot of damage. There's not enough anti-air, really, to deal with this entire swarm quite yet. Here comes Whippy's entire fighter force. There are now dogfights over the sea between Whippy and Forlogs and fighter swarms. All of the torpedo bombers go down. Whippy spent his entire anti-air force to try and deflect those bombers. It worked, but Shiny Squirrel gets out with about maybe a dozen of his own fighters. Didn't lose a whole lot there. The carrier actually survives. That attack not very well orchestrated. Plenty of things got out. In the land bridge, well, we got two big attacks going on right now. On the land bridge, watch me do this, in the light blue. Currently making moves on Forlog. Absolutely destroying. There's nothing here to stop this. He's going to take out Forlog's base again. Forlog only has a small amount of... there's a small force of hover tanks there. In the north, a huge naval battle between Alex Clark and Somp threatens to begin. Babamba out there with Alex Clark's navy. His army of hovercraft. Oh, that's not a navy. Those are amphibs. He's got ducks walking under the water. That's a huge navy for Somp, though. I think they should be able to deflect this, hovercraft force. And that's, they go right for it. So far, pretty even trades, but big bomber strikes come in. Whippy comes in and does huge damage to Somp's navy, but there really aren't a lot of hovercraft left after that. He does get them to shore, though. There's enough to be a problem, that's for sure. He's going to go after the advanced metal extractors. Somp puts a beacon down. He's calling for help. There's still these ducks here. These amphibs are walking straight up to the shore, uncontested. I don't think there's anything that can stop them. No, there's still... Okay, there's still some subs. Something's firing torpedoes at them, but there's enough of them they could just walk ashore. He's body blocking with his ships. His ships are parked ashore, and they're stopping the ducks from reaching the fucking sand. Holy shit. But they're taking huge damage right now. That navy is getting smoked. Shiny Squirrel calls in his air force. Strikes that shore force of Babamba. Those hovercrafts got smoked, didn't do a whole lot of damage, did take out an advanced metal extractor, but his economy is far from crippled from that. In the south, Coco the Freak walking some land units one at a time into Bran Detran's navy in the south. Up north, Bagoon's air force. He's got some fighters, or he had some bombers over there, but Whippy came in just in time. No bomber strike was able to get off. Whippy's great coverage with his fighters there, covering for his teammate. Somp is moving his navy out. Significant force here. We've got quite a lot, quite a large variety of units. Various cruisers, destroyers. There's a missile cruiser there, so he's got the range. And in the middle, a commander goes down. What was happening over here? Rinwin's commander is dead, and I think that's another one. Nope, maybe that's a different. That's a bomber. Some kind of bomb was dropped there. However, Rinwin's base pretty much completely fried. Forlog, he's got his commander up front. Shiny Squirrel pulls in the entire ground attack force of his air. He needs to pull his fighters in because Whippy's coming in with his anti-air, so he's going to need to pull those fighters in and do some dogfighting here. Fatter Cow loses a whole bunch of units at mid, a lot of tanks going down to strategic bombers, but it's not over yet because Whippy's bombers are coming in. Is he going to go straight for pink? Straight for Bagoon here. It's going to be nasty. A lot of those bombs get off. There's not a lot of anti-air to stop this, and huge damage. A lot of the wind dealt damage. However, his advanced fusion reactors still stand. It's one more bombing pass. Can he get at least a few bombs off? He gets one bomb off, and it's not enough to do enough damage. That advanced fusion reactor sitting at below half health right now. Wasn't able to cause any of those to detonate, unfortunately. But it's not looking good for the red team right now. Forlog's entire forward force completely obliterated. He's barely holding on with his army right now. He's using his D-gun to try and keep himself in the fight. He's being gifted a lot of energy right now. He's almost no energy generation. Somebody's gifting him energy so that he can fight with his D-gun. He's taking out tons of these. Tons of these are going down. And he's got some Lazarus over here. He starts building some static D. If he gets those Lazarus around, he could start pulling into metal. Maybe even resurrecting them. There's only 3 though, so they're not going to res that fast. Up at the north, a big bombing run by Shiny Squirrel. Right on a Fatter Cow. And there goes the advanced fusion reactors. That's a crippled economy if I've ever seen one. There isn't a lot of anti-air here to stop this. Bran Detran comes in. He's going to try and pull in, but there's barely any fighters here. There's not enough fighters to stop these bombers. They're just going to run straight in. And now it's Alex Clark's main base, where he started at the beginning of the game, is going to get hit now. Big hits. Huge chain reaction. Alex Clark. Direct hit, and these bombers are still... nope, all the bombers did go down. But those were big hits there. Blue's in the better position right now, but definitely not out of the fight is red. We got tier 3 units on the field, 2 Razorbacks. That's going to... That is going to fuck this up. For Watch Me Do This. He's got a tank line down there. But 2 Razorbacks put out massive damage. It is a great anti-tier 1 and anti-tier 2 unit. Doesn't do a whole lot else, though. Not very good against really beefy targets. Here comes Watch Me Do This. Bagoon's not going to have time to move those Razorbacks in. He should be... He needs to go straight for the front. But he might be just trying to defend in case there's another attack wave of hovercraft. Okay, he's going to start going north. Blue. Bran Detran in the South Sea. He has an epic flagship. Huge battleship, just dropping massive artillery strikes on the shore. Not terribly accurate, but when you got these buildings as clumped up as they are, they don't have to be accurate. At the moment, he's got 12 construction turrets that are just repairing right now. So for now, there goes the factory. Oh, there's a chain reaction. Those fusion reactors are critical. Gets up a shield generator though. It's going to start bouncing some of these shots, but it won't last forever. You can see these plasma volleys simply bouncing off. Those actually do strike though. Those still land. Each projectile in Beyond All Reason is a physical object. So that shot will bounce off the shield but land elsewhere. Could still hit something. And here it comes. At the middle. Watch me do this, running his tank line in. He took a little bit too long. Bagoon's got his Razorbacks in now. 2 Razorbacks going to start absolutely laying waste to this military effort. Artanix also has a fat boy up there. It's going to go down. Not enough space to really make use of that artillery. These Razorbacks ripping this military to pieces. Almost all those tanks are going down. Shiny Squirrel bringing in his ground strike air force. Needs to be careful not to get any friendly fire damage. Friendly fire is on and it is full damage. So if he's not careful, he could bomb. But a vast majority of the bombs do land on the military of Watch Me Do This. In the North Sea, huge battle going on. Massive amphib force coming in from Alex Clark and Babamba. They run straight into Somp's Navy and start doing some pretty decent damage here. Somp's Navy is not in a very good position, so they're getting attacked from multiple angles here, and you get bonus damage for flank. If you got a unit that's being attacked and they're also being attacked from another angle, they take bonus damage up to nearly double damage. The closer they get to 180 degrees, it's another bombing run. Here we go, Whippy, crossing the middle of the field, heading south. Who's going to take the hits? He doesn't have them on attack move. He's probably going straight for a base. Forlog, with 1 fighter, comes out of the factory, immediately gets shut down. Whippy's got some protection here, but there's a huge anti-air force from Shiny Squirrel. These bombers will get a volley off. Big damage. Big damage. Artanix takes a massive hit. However, he also has 152 tidal energy generators in the lake south of his base. He has nearly covered it entirely in generators. So he has ridiculous energy generation, not even from tier 2 sources. At the middle, Artanix over here with his artillery trying to do some damage, but these fiends are going to get in point blank range and don't get too much damage done. They do take out several, but there's enough backline units coming up here from Artanix to deal with this. Brand-Tutran controls so much of the ocean, he's now producing massive quantities of aircraft, so he's now fulfilling 2 roles here. Thomp has completely lost the North Sea. The North and South Sea is completely controlled now by the blue team. Brenwyn, his commander, really far forward. It is in the ocean, and he doesn't have it on hold fire or anything. Brenwyn's commander in a very delicate position, and here we go. We've got a Titan on the field. Experimental assault mech from the Armada faction. Big hits from these bombers, though. Doing some damage. Not a whole lot, though. Between the Titan and this battleship off the coast, there's not a whole lot any of these guys can do about this at the moment. Though we do have Mercury anti-air coming in to try and take out some of these relatively milquetoast bombing runs. Not really committing a whole lot here to the airstrike. The Razorbacks of Bagoon coming back to the south area. He's also got some vanguards here. He's trying to build radar. No, he's got a cloaker. He's got a radar already. He's just not currently using the artillery. There we go. The first volleys. Gonna land direct hits on this battleship. They're doing 2% damage per strike. It'll take a while, but he will need to move that battleship or otherwise deal with those artillery strikes. In the north, some kind of attack came in from the blue team, did basically nothing. These EMP bombers doing a lot of good for the red team right now, but without sea control, it's going to be an uphill battle. Now, the big problem is that blue still has that carrier from earlier, and the carrier is an anti-nuke. So, nobody can just hit the South Sea with the nuke right now and just wipe this army out. So they're going to need significant firepower. Not that it can't be done, but there isn't a lot of ways to deal with the bases. Shiny Squirrel's gonna run his entire Air Force. His entire Air Force is going north. Massive airstrike coming in. He's got a huge fighter swarm out there. Nothing is gonna get past that. And it just... This is a desperate gamble here. Here they go. They get into the North Sea and immediately start going east. The fighter swarm of Whippy comes in, but there's way too much on the for Shiny Squirrel. Whippy's forces get annihilated. Brand-T-Tran brings his fighters in as well. He's going to do some damage, but there's still too much. There's just enough by Brand-T-Tran to come out of this with anti-air, but where are the bombers going? They need to... Oh, big hit there at the middle. Some kind of bomb was dropped. A lot of these bombers going down, though. I don't know that this attack was worth it. He's going to get bombs off. There's a lot of anti-air, though. That entire base is gone. We'll see if it was worth it, though. Alex Clark still has his coastal base that he took from the player that left the game. That whole Air Force was spent on that. I don't know if taking out one base was really worth it, but I guess if you gotta... I mean, I would have rather have taken out the front, because Artanix has a decent artillery force. There's not a lot, however, to actually attack into the middle ground and try and take out these front lines. And I think you need to give the navies on each side something to think about other than just bombing you from offshore. So a really big strike right up the middle and a huge land push might have been the goal there, but... Now, Shiny Squirrel does still have so much production. He's rebuilding very quickly. We now have 3 Titans on the south shore. Currently, oof, jeez, rough. These 3 Titans here, just standing right up over the water. Not much that can be done. That navy is just imposing. There's an attack coming in, but this is not an attack force. There's a lot of fat boys, so that's a lot of damage potential, but those are just artillery. And he's turning them around now. I don't think they can fire directly backwards. And they're just going to get run over by fiends. I can't imagine. I don't know what was going through his head when he decided to try and attack in with that. That was not an attack force. They'll lose the entire army here. Sterimos' fiends are just going to run straight through everything. All those resbots, all the static defense, all the artillery died, and now he's right into Forlog's base. Shiny Squirrel has to pull in the Air Force and drop massive bombs. And big connections there on the army. There are so many bombs. So many bombs. He did a lot of... There was some friendly fire there, but most of that attack force got wiped out. There's still some tanks there. Forlog's into debt. This is a bad position at this point. If Blue's ground force just simply runs into the base, Forlog's gonna be... Shiny Squirrel's gotta be careful not to friendly fire Forlog's stuff. And he does pull back. Can't contribute any further. Shiny Squirrel brings his entire anti-air force in, at least establish air superiority. Those Titans walked off the shore, went north, and are duking it out with the Razorbacks and dropping big bombs on the Titans. There's nothing the Titans can really do to stop this. They do have some limited anti-air, but not enough to deal with this many bombers. So he'll lose at least one Titan, it looks like. One of them gets successfully EMP'd. There's still 2 Titans left, though. Shiny Squirrel has total air superiority at the center of the map, still mass-producing huge quantities of units. In the north. Gunships. Stomp came back. The previous controller of the North Sea comes back with a whole fleet of gunships and starts wiping out the entire navy of Alex Clark. Alex Clark actually pulls his navy back. He's trying to pull them back to the shore side, on his side, just to keep them safe. Not enough anti-air to deal with it. Forlog asks in chat, do we have a chance? I think that chance could be there, but it's going to take coordination I don't know that this team is capable of doing. Up in the North Sea, Alex Clark does still have mostly control of the sea. He has a surface fleet, however. Stomp's gunships, definitely a threat. Rinwin's commander, he has no base. His commander is just in the sea, cloaked right now, just dancing in the water. And yeah, they literally have a wait animation where if they sit still too long, they just start dancing eventually. So Rinwin's just hiding in the sea right now. he still has income. He really should pull back. He might have been just working with constructors and just wants to keep his commander safe. He should pull back and probably start building again. Blue's navy has now turned into an army. He has a three-way army. Air Force, Navy, and Ground Force. He has a huge economy right now. 155 metal per second. That's a massive income. You can support a lot of production off that. And here comes some sharpshooter bots. They are a sniper bot, very long range, high damage, but they are fragile. You kind of need the range right now, because he's going to try and engage these Titans from far away with 3 Vanguards. That's a Tier 3 artillery, Tier 3 mobile artillery, and a whole bunch of sniper bots. I don't think this is impossible. But they have completely lost the front here. They need a big play. And like I was saying earlier, I think the better play would have been to wipe out these ground forces at the middle. Take control of the middle. There's plenty of metal there. If they take control of the middle, Rinwin can come back from offshore and maybe try and build. Like I said, he still has an income, so pulling back in. Whippy says, alright, gonna fuck up pink. Not sure with what. He's currently he's prepping some sort of attack, but I don't see where his attack craft are at. Oh, here we go. We've got some strategic bombers coming in. Tran says, let me know when. Whippy says, now. So here it comes. A big attack. Oh, there are the rest of the bombers, all in the southeast. And Tran's gonna pull his entire force in. Are those gunshot? Those are bombers. He's got a massive Tier 1 bomber force coming in. It's gonna be up to Shiny Squirrel to stop this. Shiny needs to pull his entire anti-air to the south right now. He's not reacting very quick. He's not pulling them in at all, actually. It's going to be up to the static anti-air to try and stop any of these bombs from dropping, but it's not enough. Those are big hits. Is it enough? It triggers the chain reaction. The advanced reactor goes up in smoke. That's an entire base gone. Just like that. The rest of the bombers come in and they're just simply dropping bombs indiscriminately. All of them get taken out, not very, Somp says, come on, you need to look at minimap all the time if you're a back anti-air, and I kind of agree. I think that was actually stoppable. Shiny needed to pull his entire fighter wing back to deal with that, and he did not react very fast. And now here comes another. This is a fighter wing exclusively, I think. Well, there seem to be some bombers mixed in. Those bombers go down. Squirrel's in place. However, this time, nothing gets to the base, but it's already too late. Squirrel says, yeah, we are seeing so far, but I don't know what he means by that. It could be that they just don't have vision on that side. I mean, Baguette's up there. What can he see? There's enough radar there. He needed, well, there's not, but those aircraft move fast. He would have had to have reacted pretty fast to that. But, didn't quite do it. And, it's looking like this is about the end here. Actually, if you look at the income, red team currently matches blue team in metal production. In fact, they exceed them somewhat, so I'm not sure where that's coming from. It could just be sharing, could be resource sharing. There's a lot of energy converters here. Those turned energy into metal. So it could just be Shiny Squirrel with his enormous income of 400 metal a second. Jesus Christ. And 34,000 energy is matching the income. It's actually giving his team the ability to match the income of blue, which is why I think it's not impossible right now to actually come back from this. But there has to be coordination. And red team's demoralized. I don't think they know. I don't think they realize how much economy they've got here. But there's just not enough coordination, and after losing an entire base to that bombing run, it probably feels like the game's already over. They're just not aware of how much production they could pump out here. And I just don't agree with this this mass fat boy strategy by Artanix. I mean, he's controlling the center, but we got a big fight down here in the south. Brand Tran moving his entire ground force in. Shiny Squirrel moving his air to ground in. Here comes the anti-air. He's pushed his bombers forward without the anti-air. Brand Tran is going to do massive damage to a lot of these bombers. Now Squirrel reacts. He brings in his fighter squadron. Those bombers didn't get a whole lot off, but the 3 Titans are walking up the hill right now with several Marauders in play. There's big plasma cannons at defense, but it's not going to be enough for 3 Titans. There's bombs constantly being dropped on this, but you really need other tier 3 units to try and fight this. The only thing that's up here is a couple of Razorbacks, and they're both targeting different mechs. And there goes another base. That's about the end, I think. I think even with the high income, this huge invasion of blue, it's going to be pretty much uncontested. There isn't really a lot of firepower back here. Those Titans are pretty hurt. But I mean, as much has been lost right now, he could just focus fire this artillery down. There it goes. And just base after base being crushed. There's barely any HP on these Titans, but plenty of DPS still. Another base wiped out. And despite having the income to put out enough production to have potentially fought this off, like I said, not enough coordination between the team members. Definitely a lot of potential to come back, but you gotta think you can win to actually come in and win. And that's gonna be GG. All the G's are called. Red team surrenders, and blue team emerges the victor. The remaining combatants: Brand Tran, Fatter Cow, Alex Clark, Watch Me Do This, Babamba, Whippy, and Ceremos. Great job, guys. Good fight. Very good. And what time is it? 12:30. I have to leave for work at 2:30, so we definitely have time for another one. I want to watch a live one. Let's see if we can catch... If there's one where they've already got enough players, or nearly have enough players, we won't have to wait very long. So let's check out a live one this time. We do have No Boss 8v8 All Welcome at Aberdeen 3v3v3. Well, it says 8v8, so... Oh, they changed the map. There's enough players. Let's jump in on this live one. Let's watch this game. Oh, that was fun. I really enjoyed that. It's the first game I've ever cast. And that was, it feels good. I really like making this kind of content, I think. Very enjoyable. All right. We are connecting to the server. The quiet whisper of the wind heralds the approaching commanding forces. 2 armies face off against each other. But in this world, AI and robotics are the primary source of the destruction of your opponents, which means all you need is enough resources and you can fight forever. These mountains of stone will be replaced by mountains of metal, jagged and crushed under the weight of atomic fire. It is beyond all reason. And here we have blue team versus the red team. We'll wait for them to load in, and then I'll introduce our players. Blue team is loaded. That's Pink General, Sir Verdi, Allfox, Ringed Seal, Koya Boy, Coolney, Lee 337, and Mazda 69 versus the red team. Evolved Monkey, Valkyrie, Dariesta, Gaos, Pressler, Sky Tower, Insomnia 2077, and Reading. Down on the bottom left, we'll check the signature here. DSDR 4.1 is the map. Delta Siege Dry Remake. Now let's look at this map, because I've never looked at this one before. So, we've got a very, very open southern half of the map. It's going to be a big ground battle down here without any cover. And there's not a lot of metal down here either. So we might see a lot more tier 1 combat than normal, at least until we can get advanced metal extractors. Beyond All Reason official, welcome. Thank you for checking out the stream. I'm really having a good time, and I love this freaking game, so I'm definitely going to continue. I didn't think I would enjoy casting quite as much as I do. In the north, we have a very complicated set of cliffs and ramps leading to and from various cliff points. So there's a lot of high ground, there's a lot of elevation differences. I'd say there's probably a solid 3 or 4 elevation differences. We're going to get started here. Countdown begins. On the south side for each team, red team, Insomnia, Reading, Evolved Monkey, and Pressler are in the bottom half. They'll be doing a lot of the big time fighting here. Down in the bottom. On the blue team, Pink General, Colney, Kolya Boy, Lee 337. Those will be your frontline combatants for the most part. It's going to be a lot of setting up battle lines. There's going to be a lot of artillery more than likely down here at the bottom half, but not as much space for that. Oh, we've got to stop here. There's an idle player. Dariesta says he's back, so... Okay, the game resumes. Good. Didn't want to have too long a stoppage. Awesome to hear you casting and also saying you enjoyed it. It's priority number 1. I actually didn't... I tried this game 6 months ago, believe it or not, and did not... I don't know why it just didn't click with me at the time. I'm a StarCraft player, so that was what I was mostly playing at the time. And I have played Supreme Commander and... mostly Supreme Commander 2, and then I also played 0K, and I don't really care much for 0K these days. And then just tried again maybe a week and a half ago. I was watching Winter StarCraft on his alternate channel, Winter Gaming, casting a game. Thought I'd give it a try. Really liked it this time, and I think this is probably going to be my main RTS for quite a while because there's too much to like about how the combat works in this game. In the south, the first scouts are coming out. Pink General with a blitz. Got a fast attack tank. A little bit more of an investment than a typical scout. Insomnia's Tick is going to get right by him, but he's going to run straight into the commander. Pink General takes first blood. Casual expansions going out right now. Pink General with 2 fast assault tanks. Definitely gives him more firepower than the typical scouts. Kolya Boy, also with his own fast assault tank. So, we start with 2 vehicles at the front. Probably because it's entirely flat ground and they're not expecting to really take a lot of early advantage of the elevation changes in the northern part of the map. Which is why I'm sure we'll see bot labs up here from all 4 of these players. We actually have a vehicle plant by Sky Tower. He's at the top of the red team side. All Fox went for a bot lab. There's 2 bot labs on opposition, so they'll have a little bit easier time getting up on the hills for the top side blue team. Insomnia and the General should detect each other shortly if they don't already. There he goes. They'll see them on the radar here. Got Pressler coming in. Squad of 3 ticks. Somehow nothing is happening here. They're just not attacking. There we go. He jumps on him. Probably should have kept those ticks moving. That probably would have been the play there. Got some combat. Looks like it's going to start up front. And they're just cranking out some combat bots almost non-stop right now. Both sides. There's going to be some... there's going to be an attack soon. Sky Tower setting up Static D, but he only has time to get up 1 before the first pawns come in. This tank not going to be enough. Well, it did discourage the attack, so bought him some time. He's going to be able to get up some Static D now. And yes, Beyond All Reason official, I do agree. I think you can tell how much he really enjoys playing this game. And after playing and casting StarCraft for so long, it's also just, you know, you might want something different. And it just so happens that the different thing he selected is one of the best games out there right now. Now, Pink General comes in, runs by Pressler's base, takes out some energy production. He's going to run straight into Evolved Monkey's base here. This turret is not ready. He's got nothing here to defend himself. Never mind, the turret is finished, thankfully. Up in the top, Sky Tower. Up against Sir Verdi. His tanks take down Verdi's forces. Sky Tower takes more control of the center of the map here. He's going to set up some static D. Need to head off to do some development. See you and good luck with your channel. Thank you very much. Thank you for stopping in. And I hope to cast many games. Oh, you boy. At the front, taking out some of Pressler's pawns here. He does have a decent amount of tanks here. He's got 5 fast attack tanks. Pressler's going to have to bring his commander in if he wants to deal with this easily. Doesn't have enough forces otherwise. He is going to reroute some of his pawns. Or, yeah, those pawns. Over here, Pink General and Insomnia duking it out. Artillery, as we said earlier. Some shell shockers by Pink General. Insomnia doesn't have any artillery or rockets to counter this right now. So he's just going to eat shells for a while. Up at the top. We got a commander battle. I can't believe I even missed that. They kill each other. Oh my goodness. Sir Verdi. And I believe that's Sky Tower. Duking it out at midfield. Both commanders go down, and that's 4,000 metal. Right at the center of the map. Sky Tower is not in a position to actually take that metal back. Pressler's being pushed back here by Koya Boy. He needs to start leapfrogging some defenses here. He's going to put out a Centurion, maybe some additional firepower. He's seeing the tanks. Thinks he's going to need something more than just your typical fast attack craft to deal with this. He's going to start building some static D here. But Koya Boy is taking a commanding position to the bottom, and Pink General is simply going around Insomnia. Insomnia is pretty much lost his entire position here. This might be a fast game, at least in the bottom. There's nothing stopping, if Pink General knew, there's nothing stopping him from running straight up the ramp and just going right for orange and killing one of the, and basically killing the eco player. He might do that here. And Pink, or Insomnia 2077 goes down. Pretty inactive. Kind of looked like he was not paying much attention to what was happening there. Boy, oh boy. About to deal with Pressler very ruthlessly. There are some Centurions here. They'll dish out good damage, but there's not enough. He's going to have to fire off some D-gun shots. That was a wasted shot there. Pressler still has plenty of energy, though, so he's got another shot already good to go. Up at the top, we've got some Air Force coming in. Bombers coming in. Gonna hit Sky Tower. Entire energy production basically completely taken out. He's down to 30 energy a second right now, and those bombers will continue right on by. I don't know that they'll get another shot off. They're going straight for Valkyrie. Not one bomb comes off for Valkyrie. So he gets out of that unscathed. But down on the bottom, it's bad times. Now Red, Evolved Monkey, is now trying to produce some units to try and help out here. Insomnia currently rebuilding his forces. He doesn't have much here in terms of construction power, though. He should build some workers. He is not building workers, though. He's trying to produce units, but he really needs workers to get that production up as soon as possible. At this point, you just gotta trust that Evolved Monkey can cover for you. And these are fiends. They're pretty tough in terms of how much damage they can output, but they can't really hold the line very well. Up at the front, Allfox simply running straight into Sky Tower's line, doing a bunch of damage. He'll take out the geothermal plant. So now Sky Tower's got even less energy production. He's down to 106, which I believe is the lowest in the game currently. On the left side, Chaos built a Centurion to deal with a pawn attack. He manages to get off okay. Doesn't take too much damage there. Pink General in the south. Making another push. These fiends are dangerous. You don't want to run in too hard. He is using grunts, though. They have a slight range advantage. He's just going to run them in, and those... Oh, my God. The carnage. The pawns get absolutely destroyed. Or the grunts, I mean. Grunts get wiped out, and he's going to go for the commander here. There's enough. 3 fiends is enough. That commander's almost dead. He needs to go in there and hit that commander before that turret finishes. Preferably. Well, these fiends can probably tank at least a little bit of that. 4 injured grunts coming up to support Pink General. He's just going to run into the fiends. He's just going to run clear into them and try and dig, I guess, assuming he was just going to take them out. Pink General loses his commander. Pressler and Koya Boy set up in the south here. Koya Boy's got a significant metal production advantage over Pressler right now, producing over twice as much metal. He'll be able to supply his army much faster. Pressler's pretty much dead right now unless something changes. Unless he can get support from somebody else. Reading. Reading has... What? He's built 12 energy converters. He's got wind, but it's only producing 152 energy per second. He is not producing enough energy to make use of these converters efficiently. And he has built units, presumably to try and take the place of Insomnia. Try and buy some time for Insomnia to rebuild, although with Insomnia not even building right now. His constructor just kind of sitting there. 2 or 3 constructors right now. He could be doing a lot more, but perhaps maybe just too unskilled. It's okay. Some people just don't know what to do in this situation. When the opener fails and you get hit and you're demoralized and your teammates are having to come in to save you, and you're not really sure how build power works. That is something I will say isn't really covered unless you go looking for that information. And it's very, very important that people understand that if you lose the commander, you're going to need probably 5 constructors at least to replace that much build power. Up at the north, along the cliffs, we got the Centurions, some plasma bots. Sir Verdi doing big damage to these fiends of Evolved Monkey. Evolved Monkey just running straight by. He thinks a counterattack is the best thing right now, and with Reading kind of providing some screening power for Insomnia, and he's salvaging Pink General's commander. So he's going to have a lot of extra metal coming in. He's got Resbots coming in. He's going to try and get some of these wrecks. Evolved Monkey gets into the Blue's base. It's Pink General here, taking a beating. Big damage coming in. There's nothing to stop this. There's no static D at all right now. And these fiends do a ton of DPS for an early game unit, so they're just rampaging. That whole base is gone. Everything died there. Pink General crippled completely here. Oh my god. Advanced metal and everything. He is down to almost no economy left. Completely destroyed. And that is exactly what was needed here. Only completely abandons the front. He's pulling all of his units back. Koya Boy, now the only substantial military on the south side for Blue Team. Up in the north. Not much has changed. It's mostly standoffs up here. Allfox has a commanding presence, however. He's taken most of the southern cliffs. There isn't really anywhere Skaos can go here to do any significant damage. There is a relatively light defense. He could go to the south. You go to the south side and take his side's path down there. It's kind of hard to describe because these are very winding paths. Back here, Gariesta comes in with artillery, and they're going to start pushing back. And that player left. Pink General left. Nobody has taken his stuff yet. They may not even know that they can do that, frankly. With nothing left here for Pink General, Colney, those fiends were dealt with. Colney does pull his army back. I just don't think pulling the entire force off was a good idea. They should make substantial ground now. Now Koya Boy has to deal with a 3v1 situation, essentially. Because Colney's a little bit too far back. He's going to start pulling forward. Okay, that's good. But Koya Boy's military is getting rained on by artillery right now, so he's going to respond. Here come a huge line of blitz tanks. That's a lot of DPS there that's going to be done. Gonna run in. All of these pawns are getting destroyed. Evolved Monkey calls. Both front bases dead. We should have the advantage. That is true, but you do have to deal with the standing force that's already here. But it is basically it's pretty much a 4v2 right now. And Koyo Boys, I mean, his economy is not very well defended at the moment. Putting the pressure on, giving them something to actually fight now is Evolved Monkey and Dariesta. Valkyrie says he's going to build some gunships so that they can clear the way. That's yellow. Meanwhile, Monster coming in with some bombers here. He's going to fly straight for the bases. Not going to do anything. No danger close strikes at the front here. We're going straight for Reading. And he did mark that position earlier. This must have been why. Is there any anti-air? There is nothing. Reading is going to get annihilated. Those energy converters wiped out. Reading is brought to a very slim economy metal-wise. And none of those bombers went down, so another round here is possible. Is he going to hit the commander? He goes for the static D. He might be trying to gun the commander down next, but we got some trashers, anti-air coming in. They should be able to deal with these bombers pretty well. But not before another volley gets off. Evolved Monkey going to take some damage, but these advanced solar collectors still stand. Not a whole lot of damage done there. Against Evolved Monkey. Reading got destroyed. Evolved Monkey, not so much. Allfox has a dominating presence on the middle cliffs on the north half of the map. Main force up there for red team is Sky Tower, but not much there. He might just be ecoing up right now. Let's see what he's up to. Yeah, it looks like he's building a bunch of construction turrets, trying to improve his production. He may have just finished ecoing up. He's going to start making use of that economy. He's pulling only 13 metal per second, though, so it's not going to be very, very powerful. He can't fuel for construction turrets right now, I don't think. In comes some more fiends from Evolved Monkey on the south battlefield. Dariesta has a significant force of Sheldons here. That's mobile mortars. These mortar bots are going to start tearing everything up. Koyo Boy's military is simply gone. The only military in the south for blue team now is Colney. Now, up in the north, still nothing really going on except it looks like an advanced exploiter. We got an armed advanced metal extractor coming down for Valkyrie up front. We got big pings over here, and for good reason. There is an all-terrain rocket spider crawling on the cliffs, bombing Insomnia's base. Oh my. It's been a while since I've seen any of the amphibious units, or the spider units used in that way. Just wall crawling right now. Nothing to deal with this until Valkyrie comes in. Those gunships should make short work of these. And they'll go down. Dariesta gives his thanks. That little delay, not to mention Colney, does have quite the economy right now. He's pumping out units at a staggering pace. Tons of thugs coming out. Thugs and Sheldons hitting the field right now. And it looks like it's just Sheldons on one queue and just thugs on the other, so just mass production here. He's moving them all up. The rest of Koyo Boy's military, though, or his forward base, exposed. He doesn't even have enough energy to fire the lasers. So Koyo Boy's energy, or infrastructure, gonna go down here. The entire front base dead. The front lines have been reestablished at the middle. Valkyrie, with his gunships, comes in. There's not enough anti-air to actually deal with him. So he's running roughshod all over Allfox's forces here. Dealt a lot of damage. Ground units are trying to take potshots at the aircraft, but that's really an unreliable way to deal with them. Some damage dealt. Not a single gunship goes down. And Allfox is completely pushed off of his point. He has to reestablish his line at the very middle, and we're basically split direct down the middle right now. From what looked like a pretty dominating position by blue, completely changed, but it might change yet again. Coley needs to hold in the south, because up north, Sir Verdi is coming in with a whole bunch of rocket spiders, launching an attack. Allfox probably should launch an attack here alongside Sir Verdi. These aren't going to be able to deal with... They're not going to be able to deal a lot of damage by themselves. They really need support. But there's nothing there to stop them. So the spiders just walk into their deaths there. Reading says, don't reclaim, I will resurrect. So he's going to build up a resurrection force. He's got 5 already. They're going to run straight to the front line. There's a lot of wrecks down here you could exploit. So he might pull an army out of this yet. It only costs energy to resurrect units, no metal. So even though his metal production is poor, he can still come out of this with a lot of units. Dariesta says, okay. So he's not going to reclaim there. And there go Reading's bots. Starting with the turrets, he's building static D. That's good for Pressler. He's going to build up, he's going to reclaim the, going to get these turrets under his control first, instead of the units. And that'll give Pressler a little more defense there. Very team-oriented decision, that was good. Over on the north, Ring Seal. Is he scouting for nukes? He just ran a bunch of fighters straight over. He's scouting for something. It's bombers. Or it's an air transport. These are bombers. What are they carrying? I don't recognize that unit by sight yet. But here they come. A bunch are taking... Oh, that's a lot of shots. A lot of shots go down. He needs to drop them right now, or they're not going to have enough time. He only gets a few. And there's plenty of gunships here. He dropped some gunslingers, but there's not nearly enough, and a bunch of the transports went down before they even got them to the to ground. Allfox, I guess, thinks now is the time to launch the attack. With the armed extractor and a whole military coming down the ramp, there's nothing really to stop this, or to turn this into something more effective. Sky Tower's military, not quite the strongest on the northern cliffs, but it's getting there. Still a few tier 2 units for Allfox up on the cliff, directly to Allfox's, or directly to Sky Tower South. Battle lines drawn in the bottom half of the map. We've got Colney on one side. Lots and lots of tier 1 units here. We've got thugs. And more thugs. And more thugs. And a few Sheldons. How many do we have here? 5 Sheldons. And about a bajillion thugs. On the other side, Dariesta. Mostly Sheldons. In fact, all Sheldons. Oh no, he's got Sang on. What's that? A jammer. He does have a jammer in there. Up north, Sky Tower pushed in to try and do some damage. It looks like he did do some. Took out some units. He didn't take out any economy buildings. Losing a few tanks, not a big deal there, so he's going to pull his force back. And in comes Colney. Reading has to hold his own line down there. He's got so many resbots. If they can take a decisive fight and push this attack back, that's a ton of resbots. He'll have an army up real fast. Right now, Dariesta's retreating, laying down fadeaway shots with his artillery. On Colney's advancing force, Reading is going to respond. He's going to go ahead and pull some of his units to the north. Yeah, he's just going to... Looks like he's just going to attack in. Oh, a big EMP shot. It's going to leave some more wrecks here. That's more military Reading can make use of. Battle line still drawn pretty cleanly at the middle. Everybody's kind of stabilized, but blue has a large economic advantage right now. Pulling in way more metal. About 100 more metal at this moment. Pretty significant. And about 4,000 more energy. 12k for blue. 8k for red. Oh, 11k now. It looks like somebody just finished in a fusion reactor. An advanced fusion reactor. Reading's going to press in very... Oh, he's very close to this opposing line. These thugs for Colney, there's so many. There are so many. He's got 103 thugs over here. He's got a massive numbers advantage. Very good timing by Monster. He's going to bring in 3 gunships. There's no anti-air at the front. And now Colney's going to push in, seeing that there's nothing to stop these gunships from causing problems. Valkyrie calls out Skaos. Trying to build a long-range plasma cannon, but he doesn't have any upgraded mexes right now. So his metal production is very poor. He is bringing in 17 metal a second. Not enough. He needs those advanced extractors up yesterday. And the gunships went down. There wasn't any significant damage dealt. And now, Reading brings his military back to the front. Pressler's now got a force of his own, finally. Spent quite a while getting his economy up, 27 metal and 16k, or 1.6k energy. So good enough for some solid production. However, not producing unit... it looks... Yeah, he's producing pawns non-stop right now. He's queued up 168, specifically. Up in the north, no real changes here. Nobody's quite moved yet. However, there is a lot of welders. Tier 2, a Tier 2 assault bot, controlled by Sir Verdi. So a lot of DPS down there. Allfox also gathering his force right next to Sir Verdi, so an attack might be coming soon, and I'll tell you right now, there is not enough over here to stop a Tier 2 push. In the bottom, Reading and Dariesta directly engage Colney's force. But the top and bottom flanks are going to come in. The more arrive, the more damage is done. Reading's force gets wiped out. He's got... Where are the res bots? They're close enough. Oh, he's got so many. Got a ton of res bots. Ring Seal just now noticing Blue's been dead. Blue's been dead for a while there, buddy. Yeah, you should have had full vision of that, so, I mean, he's been completely engrossed in his own thing, I guess, producing these hounds up at the top cliffs of the map. A big push. There's a ton of damage on this push right here. Sir Verdi, Allfox, and Ring Seal have a serious army at the top. Very scary. Meanwhile, all that's up top here that can really do anything is the Valkyrie's got a fortress, or a dragon. Flying Fortress, going to do a lot of, quite a lot of DPS. But it's only the one flying unit. Valkyrie's going to come in with some Tier 2 fighters, looks like. Or stealth fighters, actually. And he's going to try and dogfight now to protect his Flying Fortress in the bottom. Reading. Resurrecting units at point blank range right now. Gonna need to be careful the instant Colney notices, because he can't see the res bots on radar, but he will see these other units that are being rezzed. Still though, nobody's stopping him. Here comes Ring Seal. Is he gonna jump on this? He's starting to bomb that area. Now's the time to pull back, and he does so. That's quite a lot. Maybe a solid 12.5 thugs there gained for Reading. Not an inconsequential force. That was a good resurrection push. Red needs to bring more. He's got Tier 3. We've got Shivas down on the bottom now. Some Tier 3 units hitting the field. Dariesta pings Colney's army. Colney has separated his army and marched some of them up into the cliffs. They're not in a good spot right now. Those Sheldons are engaging. Colney's not reacting at all. He might lose that entire army on the cliffs. Some battles going on here at the middle. Ring Seal trading out some shots with, looks like, Pressler. Artillery being exchanged between them. Shiva's down here, make it very difficult to push in. Evolved Monkey requests a spy bot. Dariesta took out that entire force of Colney's at the top. Allfox, though, is going to respond. He's going to pull a bunch of Tier 1 units in to try and chase these Sheldons off. Dariesta is going to retreat back down the ramp, and at the south, ill-advised attack, I would not. Always supporting the Shivas, that's why he's up there. So, Pressler with his Tier 1 and a few of his Tier 2 units supporting the push by the Shivas, who are doing huge damage. Those cannons absolutely ripping into this force here. Those missile launchers now going. Very long-range missile launchers. They can fire from quite a distance, so should be able to get damage out even when he's retreating. Missile hits, but these are a lot of Tier 2 units. That's a ton of hounds. There's not enough here to protect these Shivas. That's way too much DPS. So Pressler's going to pull in his Tier 2 and Tier 1 units to try and protect these Shivas so that they can keep the fire going. One Shiva goes down, there's still 3 left, and still a lot of DPS. Pressler needs to pull back. He's pushing too far ahead. Chasing Sir Verdi's, or Lee's spiders off, but he pushes way too far ahead. He loses his entire force. The Shivas are once again only lightly defended. Now Allfox. Big, massive push down here. We got 4-player push down here by the blue team. Get a sweet cinematic look at this, shall we? Got a lot of hounds and thugs coming in. Now, technically, a lot of the red team armament does outrange them. There's just so many. But at the top, there wasn't enough. The Sheldons actually held. But at the bottom here, we have a lot of welders and thugs coming in. Dealing out still tons of damage. Starting to cut into the economy of yellow. 5 Shivas now at the front. Dealing out a lot of pain, but not really being able to kill them fast. And so they're able to get in and do a lot of damage. But still a valiant effort here. For sure. Old monkey. Says there's a lot of reclaim, which is true. But Shiva's still trying to defend Pressler. Pressler has no military to speak of at this time. He's now producing bots as fast as he can. Rallying them towards the Shivas. And the push has finally stalled out. That bought them a lot of... That bought blue team a lot of space, though. And there's a lot of dead units. However, Reading still has an entire squad of 11 resbots. Could pull them in, but here come some gunships. We got Wasps by Motzer coming in on the far bottom side. I don't think these... Yeah, these Shivas can't shoot up. Motzer's going to completely ignore the Shiva. He's going to go right for the economy of Pressler. Calling for fighter support, but there's just almost nothing here. There's almost no fighter support. Valkyrie brings in some of his stealth fighters, though. Okay, yeah, alright, we're good. They took him down. He did have some fighters nearby. Most of his fighter wall's up north, though. But it's nothing compared to Ring Seal, who's been mass-producing fighters for quite a while now, and there's a massive fighter wall. It's going to be hard to get anywhere at this point with this many enemy fighters on the field. Blue, very commanding position at the middle of the map here. They have a significant army advantage. They have an income advantage of about 200 metal and about 10,000 energy. However, big push by Shivas. We've got 9 Shivas wielding their dual cannons, marching down the bottom lane here. There isn't a whole lot to stop it. There are atomic bombers, though. They're dropping nukes on the Shivas. They are small nukes. They're not massive, but they are going to do some serious damage. Take some big splash, but all the Shivas still stand as of now. Now these Resbots, I'm pretty sure, can repair. He's going to try and resurrect. Okay, he's going to get some of this long-range artillery. He's now rezzing as much as possible. Is reading. And here comes... Is that Insomnia? That's Sky Tower at the far south? Sky Tower is way south right now. They built a whole bunch of stout medium tanks. They're going to come in and support the push by the Shivas. Probably a good idea, but there's a big flank. Coming from the cliff side, Allfox. He's moving some of his maces. There's no tier 2. Oh, there's a few tier 2 units. He's got some welders. There's not a lot of firepower there. But Darius has got that ramp covered by the Sheldons, so they're pummeling Allfox's army as they come down. And Evolved Monkey pings to let them know that army is there, but I think Darius has pretty much got this covered. I don't know that there's enough damage there to walk straight into the artillery without losing that army. Oh, there's some more tier 2, though. Oh, Allfox is not paying attention. He's waiting for his units to consolidate, or he's just not looking. They're just standing there eating artillery now, so these Shivas in the south, they're free to just walk. They are taking out everything. Oh my, the carnage. Got a bunch of sumo armored assault bots just getting absolutely pounded right now, and something wow, what just went up in smoke? A commander went down. Looks like it was Sir Verdi's commander. Nope, that was Koya Boy. Koya's commander is dead. I don't think he has any does he have any constructors? He has 1 constructor. He does still have an advanced reactor, but he's only got the 1, so he's only pulling 8 metal in right now, but he could rebuild. Lee's got nukes. He's got a lot of nukes. He's got a ton of nukes. Oh my goodness. That just massive nukes hit the center of the field. And he's probably got more where that came from. How many do we have here? Those, he's got one left. Evolved Monkey running his Shivas out of there. He does not want to take a nuke directly. But he still has a nuke, and there's no anti-nuke right now. He could fire another nuke the moment he knows exactly where these Shivas are at. And there it goes. Lee's nuke firing off. Going straight for the Shivas. And it's going to be a big hit. That's going to be square right in the middle of the army, and almost every Shiva goes down. There's 4 left standing. That's probably a big turning point in this fight, because up north, Sir Verdi has a substantial tier 2 army coming up the hill. He's just going to start running this over. Sky Tower moves his Mauser mobile artillery into place. Those are tier 2 artillery. They are going to do a lot of damage. But these welders are pretty stout. We'll see. They need to get close enough. Some of the static D, there's not a lot of static defense here, but it looks like their artillery is doing a lot of damage before they can get close, so the relatively weak static defense is still strong enough. But the welders are finally in range. They're going to start taking these things out. Airships by Valkyrie come in, and those welders get chased off. There's nothing to stop these airships from tearing them apart. Some bombing runs. Now there are some catapults on the field. Evolved Monkey's got some catapults to support the Shivas. Catapults, very long range, very high missile count. They are very dangerous. And there's another nuke. Monster's also got a nuke. He's got nukes building. He's got none yet, but one. His first one's about to finish. How many nukes for Lee? He's got 1, 2, 3 nukes ready. He just needs to figure out where that army's at. Only spots the grave robbers. Looks like they made. I don't think they were resurrecting anything. No nukes fired yet. He needs to know where the heavy bots are at. I don't think he'll fire it at a weaker army. I think he wants to. Oh, all 3! He fires all 3 at the same time. Is there anti-nuke? There's no anti-nuke. They don't get hit. This is about to be big. All 3 at the same spot? And at the back corner, that did way less damage than it should have. I think that was accidental. I don't think he meant to do that. And they all fired right at the back corner. He might have been trying to snipe a commander. But that was a waste of a nuke. Trying to over-nuke. I mean, it didn't take out anything substantial. So I'm not sure exactly what the purpose of that was. I'm not sure what he means by over-nuking. Those nukes hit the back line. A bunch of wind turbines did go down, but it's not like that's Valkyrie's only energy. He's still pulling in 2.5k energy per. Big battle going on at the cliffs here. All Fox. And Reading. Duking it out at the middle. Reading with his own Shiva now. A lot of damage to be put out here. And sharpshooters, but those sharpshooters are very flimsy. He really should not have them this close to the front line. Somebody's firing missiles from somewhere. Evolved Monkey's catapult firing missiles, but a bunch of them are hitting his teammate. A bunch of them hit Reading's units, so there was some extra damage that didn't need to be felt there. Something just exploded. That was an anti-nuke, but 2 more nukes coming in. I see what he was doing now. He's firing 3. He fired 3 nukes so that a nuke would survive. Past the anti-nuke. He was expecting anti-nuke to be there. He's going to fire another one. Is this enough? No, there's still more anti-nuke. All 4 nukes canceled out. Detonated in the skies over this blasted battlefield. How many nukes does he have left? That was it. He's fired everything for now. He's still building more. Monster still has his own nuke launcher. It doesn't have one. He must have fired it, but I didn't see any result. I'm gonna go ahead and say he probably got that nuke canceled. Down in the south battlefield, Colney and Lee setting up a massive battle line here. Pretty substantial force here. He's got a lot of tier 2 armored assault bots. They have a lot of HP. He's also got a lot of thugs down here. Lee's got a whole force of hounds. So quite a lot of damage. Quite a lot of damage and quite a lot of range. Another nuke trying to hit. Gets sniped. Presley. Or Preston. Or Pressler, I mean. Umbrella, he's making mobile anti-nuke. Ariesta's asking if we have any nuke. Oh, incoming. Lee pushing forward with his Hound Force. Colney now moving. He was a bit late on that reaction, so it's only Lee's force right now, but a lot of another nuke canceled out in the skies above. On the cliffs. 3 of Evolved Monkey's catapults. Doing a bunch of damage to Purple's encroaching force. All Fox losing a whole bunch of units, but he still has tier 3 Spider artillery coming up over the cliffs. Back to the south. Another nuke. Canceled out in the... canceled out. Oof. There's a whole lot going on right now. Several battles happening at the same time. All of Lee's hounds do get taken out, however. A lot of Pressler's base took hits there. But his factory survives. Pressler's still pulling in 52 metal per second. He's still got plenty of production power. And we've got some Archangels protecting himself. But more importantly, there's just a flying fortress parked on the ground over here by for Valkyrie. However, look at the income. Advantage to blue at the moment. Significant energy advantage. And here comes another nuke, but the anti-nuke is there, and another one goes down. Evolved Monkey making sure everybody's producing anti-nukes. Pressler's trying to build an umbrella, but it's going to be another minute and a half out. Which means the Shivas aren't going to have any protection except within a certain radius. Can't really push forward. You push too far forward, you won't be able to retreat back to the anti-nuke. Ariesta says he's going to stop their anti-nuke. Not sure with what exactly. He does have Karganeths. Serious artillery firepower for both Evolved Monkey and... oh, that's how he's going to stop him. Well, that's how Valkyrie's going to stop him. He's coming in with a whole bunch of gunships. That's 21 gunships are going to jump all over these tier 3 units. Uncontested DPS here. He's doing huge damage there. There's nothing to stop this. Ringed Seal is not... Ringed Seal's not reacting. He's not bringing his fighters in. So Allfox is just losing unit after unit here with no anti-air to stop them from taking him out. Now Seal reacts. All these gunships are going to go down. Yellow didn't bring any fighters with him. Ringed Seal retreats with his fighters. Now, at the bottom, the Shivas engaged in combat again. Can't push too far forward. There's another anti-nuke built, giving him a little more room to maneuver here. But you gotta wait until those anti-nukes are actually stockpiled. That new anti-nuke doesn't do anything. And of course, they can't know that unless they're looking directly at it. EMP lands over here. Sky Tower going for some sort of far south flank here, and it's actually working out pretty well. There's a whole bunch of bulls getting in through the bottom. I don't know that they'll actually reach it, though. No, he stops. He could have gone. He could have gone all the way. He's going to target the army instead. He's running his bulls away. He probably should have just run them straight into the eco. He won't do any economic damage now with that attack, even though it looked like it probably could have worked. Those bulls are very tanky. He probably could have sustained that attack and done some damage. Back up top, there's a Thor coming in for Allfox. It's approaching all of Dariesta's tier 3 units. It's going to start doing some damage here. A lot of HP. There's a second Thor coming up. I don't think these tier 3 units of Dariestas are going to survive. Another nuke canceled overhead, a second nuke, a third nuke. Plenty of anti-nuke now. So it's hard to get these nukes to land. They never really quite capitalized on hitting the Shivas earlier. Now there's a massive line of Shivas here. I mean a massive line. That is a lot. We got 19 Shivas at midfield for Evolved Monkey. He's going to go on the move. Got to be careful though. He doesn't have high ground. Allfox could plant his units here at the top and start raining hell down, but well, welders don't get any range boost. But they're definitely close enough still. to hit these Shivas. Another nuke canceled out over the skies. There's 2 more canceled. A nuke hasn't landed since those Shivas got destroyed. Big missile launch by the catapult. There's the Thor, All Fox's Thor coming down the ramp. Evolved Monkey. Tons of Shivas putting out a lot of damage on the Thor, but barely scratching the paint on it. 47,000 HP remains. Sir Verdi, up at the top. He's got a whole bunch of tier 2 units planted on the cliffs. Reading says, oh, they're spamming nukes now. Evolve says, push, do something about it. It just says, no, build more anti-nuke. One of the most useless exchanges I think I've ever seen between 2 people playing this game. We have a huge battle line being drawn here. A ton of sumos for Kölni. Behind these sumos, a whole line. Oh my god. That's so many gunships. These Shivas don't have anti-air. So if there isn't any anti-air at the front, another nuke canceled, that's 100 gunships. There's 100 gunships. And probably 24 heavy strategic bombers landed right now. The Shivas are coming in. Monster moves. His gunship's coming in. That's a ton of aerial DPS. The Shiva has no answer for this. Evolved Monkey calling out for help. And there they go. They spread out and start the attack. Evolved Monkey brings his fighters in. Gunship's dropping like flies right now. There's no anti-air for Monster. He did not bring any of his fighters. He doesn't have any fighters, actually. He had some fighters over his base. Big damage being done to the Shivas, though. There were plenty of fighters to respond, but there were 100 gunships to deal with. It looks like he takes down probably a good 10 of these Shivas. That's a lot of damage being dealt to this army. Only can now move forward. More nukes being spammed. Allfox moved down the ramp with 3 Thors, is going to go after Insomnia. And that's going to be the end of Insomnia's base. There's no answer for this whatsoever. Up in the north. Still holding. Evolved Monkey. Calling out to teammates, stop making eco, make units and push. I kind of agree. Ego doesn't matter if there's no units. He's calling out to use commanders. Ariesta making a joke of things. Reading now asking, how do you cloak commander? He does have 2 commanders. He could move up and degun these, but he's not quite moving yet. And that's a huge hit! Huge hit. Pressler's economy gets absolutely annihilated. The Thor's just pretty much uncontested right now. Evolve practically begging Reading to cloak, but he doesn't have the energy production to maintain cloak, so his commander's just taking hits right now. He's not in range to degun yet. He should be in range now. But he doesn't have the energy, does he? He gets 1 shot off. There goes the Thor. Thor's down. They're having to fight backwards into their own bases, which leaves Pressler completely exposed. There's nothing to stop the attack of Kölni coming in. And now, some anti-air, another anti-nuke shot. As the fallout rains down on this battlefield, Red Team has completely lost the center. But they haven't lost all of their production, not quite. Evolved Monkey is begging his teammates to make units right now. All he needs is some tier 1 spam. Because these Shivas and the catapults can do catastrophic damage to the opponent. He just needs some support. But there's just nobody here. Sky Tower's got some units. He's a northern commander sending his units south to support Evolved Monkey's tier 3 army. Reading doesn't have the power to maintain his current... What he needs is to start turning off some of these energy converters. Reading has 20, but even with those energy converters, he may have already turned them off. Evolved Monkey, with Sky Tower's help, pushes forward. Monkey puts 2 tier 1 bot labs at the front. He's just going to start producing at the front now. He's got to hold it. Here comes Dariesta with a friggin' juggernaut. Oh, that's a big hit. Shiva. The Shiva's coming in now. The catapult's coming in. The Evolved Monkey sees this as the opportunity. The Juggernaut can anchor the force. More anti-nukes canceling out nukes overhead. Don't... Oh, no. Sky Tower's pushing his army really far forward. If he pushes too far forward, his friendly catapults are going to start doing damage to his army, but he pulls back. It's not going to take any damage. This Thor is definitely going to go down eventually, but not before taking out a whole bunch of Sky Tower's bull tanks. All Fox at the front. Another player left at some point. I guess that was... Okay, yeah, that was Koi. Koi completely lost. Looks like Lee took his units at some point. Sky Tower points out that there's a flying fortress. Give them the old fart. Drop some farts on their heads. Their swarm. Spider swarms overhead. Also, shurikens completely locking up. Lee sent some Vanguard spider artillery up the cliff. Wasn't seen until the last second, but there were already shurikens prepped. And so all of these artillery are going down. Reading. Valkyrie with a whole bunch of resbots. A bunch of resbots. Same thing with Valkyrie coming down here. Or he's gonna res the commander. Gonna take it. This Juggernaut's still basically uncontested. It hasn't lost hardly any HP, and it outranges all of the opponent's army right now. They should probably pull further back. You don't want to give up too much ground, but it's not like you're gonna get any closer with that Juggernaut there. Up at the north, Sky Tower points out. He knows the pain is coming. Sir Verdi with a massive army. Approaching his ramp. Those are fat boys. High range. Low DPS, but massive burst damage. The first volleys go out. An armored extractor going down instantly. Is there anything he can do to target the cliff units, though? He starts putting some fire on the cliffs. Big hits. Some of Sky Tower's artillery going down. More big hits. Catastrophic damage. These fat boys are dealing out enormous damage on this approach. There's not a much... There's no supporting army. If somebody mass-produced fiends and just ran them in, probably could do a lot of damage. Sky Tower calls out to build radar. His radar was taken down. That geothermal plant, if that goes up, that's an advanced geothermal plant that will detonate with fury if it is actually targeted. Big hits coming in on it. He needs to back his fat boys up. He takes a whole bunch of damage to his own units, but there's still plenty walking up the ramp. Sky Tower's now lost all control of his own ramp there. Sir Verdi running units up. In this absolute devastating battle. A whole fleet of shurikens come in and lock up the entire army. And a nuke fired by somebody. A defensive nuke takes out the whole army. Killed all of Evolved Monkey's shurikens, but also all of Sir Verdi's force. Wow, what a counterattack. It's been a while since I've seen a defensive nuke used just straight up on another army. Looked like it was Dariesta firing the nuke there. Good call, though. Killed the entire force. Sir Verdi's got to rebuild everything now. That definitely bought some time. In the south, more nukes. These nukes aren't hitting in any of the zones. The anti-nuke in the middle was taken out. He fires some blind nukes to the front, trying to score a hit. That one's going to hit. The first two don't do anything. Gunships are dead. Valkyrie's gunships are dead. Half of Sky Tower's army got absolutely vaporized there. Luckily, the Juggernaut didn't take any damage from that. Evolved Monkey gonna come up with a whole bunch of res. He's gonna start resurrecting the Vanguard. And with that many resbots, they're gonna come up fast. He's almost got it up already. He's gonna... Okay, here come the tier 3. He's gonna start moving his tier 3 units forward. Resurrecting these Vanguards. The mobile artillery there. And is he in range? The turret of the Vanguard turns. He might be in range there. More anti-nukes. Up at the north. Valkyrie. Tier 1 spam coming in. A whole bunch of them die in the first volley of these fat boys, but there's just enough. They're going to get into point-blank range, but I don't know how much damage is going to be done there. Some flying fortresses come in. They're going to deal some damage to that. Meanwhile, another 100 gunships. Nukes on the ramp. The gunships take huge damage. A whole bunch of them go down from the nukes, but there's no anti-air up here. Valkyrie's got to pull his forces in, but there's so little anti-air. He spent so much money on the tier 1 bots. The Juggernaut is actually going to go down to a huge airstrike. Anti-air comes in. They might save the Jug. There's a lot of fighters come in, just start wiping out the gunships. Juggernaut's still standing, but it's only got 16,000 HP left, and that's not a lot when you've got tier 2 units all over the field. The Juggernaut survives, but he needs a repair immediately. He's going to start retreating, laying down some fire. I don't know that anything's going to get close enough that can do enough damage to actually kill him. Nukes coming in. Tons of nukes. Do all of them get stopped? Every nuke gets countered. 7 nukes. Detonated midair. But the Juggernaut's cut off. And he's got 2 Thors at the bottom of the ramp. They do 30,000 DPS. That Juggernaut is dead. He calls out a nuke. Lee said he's nuking. That might have been from earlier. The Juggernaut goes down. That was a linchpin unit. For the Southern Force, they really needed that Juggernaut up, but, well, maybe you don't when you've got this many freaking units. Evolved Monkey controlling huge swaths of production with a massive army. Up at the north, the tier 1 spam continues. Valkyrie's fighters trying to deal with some of these. Trying to deal with the opponent's fighters, but Ringseal's got a significant fighter wall. Down at the bottom, tier 3 units. A bunch of Marauders charging straight into their deaths. There's way too much damage there. Those Marauders are not very tanky. And now, 4 Razorbacks and 4 Marauders. Come on, you're going to need more than that. They're getting wiped out. Those Shivas doing massive damage. The tier 3 push does nothing. Here come the Shurikens. Shurikens launch, completely lock up the last Razorback. And that attack completely routed. Absolutely no progress there. Oh, another nuke fired. That one lands. They're launching nukes at the tier 1 army that, well, the Valkyrie's fielding. Tons of nukes. Every nuke stopped in the air with the exception of one that landed on the northern force of Valkyrie, wiping out a whole bunch of his tier 1 units. Not much value on that nuke, though. Look at this absolute force up here. Dariesta, a second Juggernaut, has finally hit the field. He's going north with it this time. Valkyrie with a giant force of grave robbers running around, trying to capture as many units as possible. Down at the bottom, Colney cannot, more nukes fired, but more anti-nukes are going to stop them. I don't think anything's going to get by. There's 2 more. Ringseal says he has 9 nukes. There he goes. Every single one fires. He fires all 9. How many anti-nuke? It looks like there might be enough. Every nuke stopped. Every single one. Down at the bottom, we have a battle between a Titan and a Juggernaut. Multiple Thors down here supporting this Titan. Behold, when they say beyond all reason, this is what they mean. 2 Juggernauts now in Dariesta's control down on the north side. Valkyrie calls for a nuke on that north side. The Valkyrie, one of the Juggernauts goes down. There's a ton of Thors dishing out tons of pain there. More nukes. There's nukes flying off almost every friggin' 10 seconds right now. Here's 2 more. Will they be stopped? They're stopped. There's 1 more coming. There's 2 more coming. I don't see any anti-nuke firing. There they are. There's 2 more. A 3rd nuke. The nukes is going to be raining. It's going to be raining missile shrapnel at this point. Up the north, they pull the Juggernaut back. Juggernauts were too exposed, taking a lot of damage from the Thors. Can't dish out that much pain by themselves. Ringseal's going to fire 2 more. They're just firing nukes as soon as they come up now, but there's 2 anti-nukes. Those missiles get taken out. And at the bottom, Evolved Monkey's Air Force moves out. A huge force here. Heavy strategic bombers. Coming across the field. There's really powerful anti-air, though. These... Oh, it's a huge... That's a lot of carnage from these planes. Tons of fighters going down, but there just isn't quite enough. And it looks like Evolved Monkey. Some of those are going to get in. Oh, I don't think there's enough. He might get one bomb off. He doesn't get a single bomb off. The wreckage falls. Does take out some of the weaker structures with the wreckage of the bombers, but that's not how they're meant to be used. More anti-nukes detonating nukes overhead. In the north, Thors just marching up the ramp, doing massive damage. But there's a juggernaut here. Quite a few tier 2 units. This might be dangerous here. There's a lot of Resbots on the north side. You lose all these Thors, you're just going to be handing firepower to the enemy. 3 of Valkyries. Dragon gunships comes in. Starts dishing out pain to the Titans. The absolute carnage here. Two massive armies with huge amounts of power. Oh, and that shell actually bounces off and hits something. They've got some fortification. They've got bubble shields up on the high cliffs there, protecting their artillery, which are currently firing just uncontested down onto Allfox's army here. And here comes an air force. Monster sends in some fighters, try and clear some of these fighters out and gain some air superiority. On the bottom, a positively enormous army by Evolved Monkey. Tier 3 units out the ass. A ton of shurikens coming down. It's gonna be bloody, and Kholni does not have the force to fight this. The catapult missile barrage. Hundreds of missiles connecting on Kholni's army, doing catastrophic damage. What a shot. Another barrage hits. The rest of Kholni's army falls, and there is nothing on the south side on the ground to stop Evolved Monkey's advance. Best move right now. Probably don't even need to expand your economy at this point. He's got tons of energy generation, which means he has tons of energy conversion. More anti-nukes. There's been nukes constantly being fired and blocked all game long at this point. The last 10 minutes of non-stop nukes coming in. Here comes another one, but there's another anti-nuke already prepped. There might be umbrellas in the field stopping these nukes from getting here. Gonna need them. The defensive nuke could wipe out this whole thing. Pressler, the clutch man, with his 4 anti-nukes, needs to bring him to the front. He needs to keep him at the front. There's 4 more nukes being fired. But they're being fired at the army. Will he stop all of them? He stops all of the nukes. As usual. Pressler's mobile anti-nukes here, a massive benefit. They still have plenty. Oh, they're running out. They've only got a few anti-nukes left. How many nukes can be fired? He has to stop all of them. I don't think he has enough. He has one more. There's a nuke hitting. Another big hit. That's a big hit on the army. But still tons of tier 3 left. If there's even one more nuke fires... Okay, there goes another anti-nuke. 2 more nukes coming in. Right now, Evolved Monkey is completely dependent on Pressler's forward anti-nuke systems to deal with this. 2 more. There's not enough anti-nuke. Here they come. Big hits. The entire army of Evolved Monkey wiped off the face of the world. Huge hits. Catastrophic damage. Evolved Monkey's entire tier 3 force. A smoldering crater. Who survived? Tachyon lasers take out the last few remaining that are coming in. There's a resurrected Vanguard, but he's only got 377 HP left. A tier 1 defender can take that out. Massive swarm of aircraft coming in to deal with these heavy bombers. Another nuke going off. They're just targeting the army. Evolved Monkey can't send his fighters in. They will die. More nukes coming in. It's only a tier 1 force now. Eats the hit. 2 more hit. The entire tier 1 force wiped out, and they don't even have an army to fight with. They're actually kind of reliant on the nukes at this point. Here come the fighters. They're going to come in and deal with a whole bunch of, well, nothing, actually. I don't think they did anything. He might be lining up a bombing run. There's no bombers coming. There's just nukes dropping. There are physical craters forming where all of the nukes have hit. Evolved Monkey forced to retreat at last. To pull back to his main curtain of anti-nuke, he's gonna have to rebuild. What the hell is happening up north? Is it even half as interesting as what's been going on in the south? Got Allfox, Cerverdi at the top here. They've got some tier 3 units. There's a massive force. What are those? All Resbots. Those are all Resbots. He's resurrecting the Thors. This is what I talked about earlier. They ran those Thors up the hill. They all died. Valkyrie and Reading, they're Resbots. Skytower says you guys are violating the Geneva Convention. I think the Geneva Convention no longer applies when you've got a dozen nukes being fired per minute. But here we go, at the bottom. Darius' Juggernaut dishing out pain to 2 of Allfox's Titans, but there's enough firepower here. This Juggernaut should go down. Not before killing a whole bunch of units. Doesn't take too much with the explosion either, so 2 Titans at midfield for the blue team. 2 more of Allfox's Titans at the north, the last ones standing here. Getting these Thors up. He doesn't want the Titans to get too close. Those Resbots will not stand up to a sustained strike. Missiles being fired. They're coming down. A whole bunch of resurrected units. 5 Thors for Valkyrie. That Thor push earlier now really not paying off. They get that res. That's great for the army. Cerverdi pointing out a whole squad of grave robbers. Defensive nukes now being used by the red team, landing some on those Titans, big damage being dealt. There's no anti-nuke for the blue team. At midfield, they have no mobile anti-nuke. So if they want to fire some more nukes, totally valid strategy at this point. Another anti-nuke fired off. Stops one of Lee's nukes. Good. The amount of explosions in this match is unmatched. Anti-nukes being fired by blue team. We've got red team nukes coming in, trying to target the army. Gets stopped at the bottom. A huge tier 1 swarm of grunts running straight for this Titan. Looks like they're just going to run past it. Nope, he's going to box it in. There's nowhere for this Titan to go. This Titan now has to fight against 268 grunts. Up at the top. Oh, midfield. There's a Titan. They're just running right through right now. But one of them is badly bruised at the north. 2 Titans trying to hold the line against a huge army and a Juggernaut. They're definitely not going to survive. Big nuke hit, though. Big nuke hit. Almost all of those Thors go down for red team. Blue team's defensive nuke doing tons of damage. Oh, this is insane. All the grunts are dying. They actually weren't able to take it out. He was going for a self-destruct. Reconsiders, but he's only got 19,000 HP left. There's a ton of... Maybe now's the time to self-destruct. Oh, he did? Okay, he went ahead and self-destructed. Took out all the grunts with it. Christ alive! Another army at the north. Valkyrie coming in. Offensive and defensive nukes being fired by both sides. Anti-nukes going out. I don't think any of these will hit. Wait, one of them's going to hit. We got a blue team nuke coming in. It's going to smack right into the cliff. Okay, well, it killed the cliff. There was some eco up there, but not a whole lot. I don't know that was worth a nuke usage. You got a whole army walking up the top side of the map right now. That might have been the place. Might have been the place to go here. These nukes are digging even bigger divots in these cliff sides. It's actually becoming a bit of a problem for vehicles. Vehicles are going to start to have a hard time actually going anywhere. At the middle, there's 2 more nukes going in. Are both of them going to hit? There's not enough anti-nuke. Oh, that wasn't a nuke. That's a Juno. Okay. Whew, that scared me. But the defensive nukes wipe out the entire red team army at the top. And at the bottom, another standoff. I did not start that. It was looking so dicey for red team for a long time there. What a comeback to get back to this position. Equal economies for both sides right now. It's going to be about whose nukes can land at what time and when the armies can actually hit. Another Juno coming in. I'm not sure what the purpose of that is. I may not... Those aren't scouts, so the Juno's not going to do anything to them. Not really a lot, anyway. I don't think they do any damage, yeah. Not taking any damage right now. In the south. Evolved Monkey has rebuilt his tier 3 army. Tons of Shivas. He's also got a resurrected Titan on his side now. Plus, Dariesta's Juggernaut at the middle. They're going to start going. They're lining up. They've got some serious anchors for this force. Colney's got his work cut out for him. Where's the anti-nuke, though? Got more anti-nuke. The mobile anti-nukes are here. There goes some. They're going to fire off a bunch. He's got 7 Umbrella anti-nukes here. 3, 3, 2, 2, 3, 0. That one was just built. So he can probably stop around a dozen or so nukes at the moment. 2 more nukes landing at the top. Digging even bigger divots. They're going to land some hits on the Juggernaut, but it's still at half health. So that's pretty dangerous. It's a dangerous unit to be out there. Another nuke fired. An anti-nuke already good. That one stops it. Valkyrie, Reading, and Sky Tower in the north, currently. Let's just get a look at the battlefield. We've still got Sky Tower, Valkyrie, Reading, and Dariesta holding down the north side with fully functioning scaled economies. In the bottom, we've got Reading, Pressler, and Evolved Monkey. The red team. On the blue team, currently fielding 4 Titans to the bottom section here. Bottom half of the map. It's going to be mostly Colney and Lee. Pretty much solo down there. Well, there is a... wow. I can see where the rest of Ring Seal's money went. Looks like he built a ton of Pulsar turrets. So if they do fail... I feel like units might be a better call here, though. But hey, I'm not going to complain if there's a significant static defense here. And the battle begins down in the south. The tier 1 units go forward first, soaking up a ton of shots. 3 Titans here, tons of DPS on 3 Titans right now. The Juggernaut getting shots off on them. If they carefully retreat, they should take these Titans out without losing too much. Evolved Monkey, hanging them on the map. There's 3 Titans up north, all Fox. Not a whole lot of high-tech units for the north side defenders. But on the bottom, the Juggernaut walking forward. Where is the anti-nuke? That's the big question right now. They need to be in position. Here they come. They've come forward. Right now, Orange pushing a little too far. Dariesta's getting a little bit outside. Evolved Monkey. He's going to go forward. Pressler's going to bring the anti-nuke with him. Wait. Pressler needs to move those anti-nukes up. Orange is vulnerable. He's outside of the protective radius right now. If any of them notice this, or if they just try to fire a Hail Mary nuke, it could hit. Okay, the anti-nuke is coming forward. Evolved Monkey and the anti-nuke need to keep going forward. They have to move with this army right now. Up at the north, Spider Artillery, Tier 3. Taking control of the highest cliff in the north. Centrally located. That's going to be a good spot. He's actually got so much range on these and so much high ground, he might be able to land shots on the South Army. But he may not want to with the Tier 2 force. Some bull tanks coming in. They land big hits. The artillery and the Thors making short work of these bull tanks. In the bottom. Yeah, I need a drink, but I don't want to step away for even half a second. Things can change that fast in this situation. Things are slightly stable at the moment. I'm going to grab a water. Be back in 5 seconds. Water's only right over here. Oh. All right. I'm gonna have to... I'm not recording this right now. I'm only streaming. I'm gonna have to download the VOD off of Twitch and actually make a video out of this. Everybody's got to see this game. This is what this game can... This is the full potential this game reaches. Both teams able to get to scaled, high-level, high-intensity economies and just start mass-producing catastrophic quantities of nuclear warheads, of towering robots, massive bombard towers, some Tier 3 defense... Tier 3 static defense is going up right now for Evolved Monkey. They've more or less got control of the center area. I'm gonna reduce the size of these icons a little bit. They're a little bit big. I want a little bit more of their models to be visible. Still not that great. Let's reduce it to minimum scale there. There we go. Makes it a little easier to see the units actually moving around. Here they come. Evolved Monkey and Dariesta. Comprehensive push here, but Lee. 4 Titans in the south. Oh. Yep, 4 Titans. Big damage here. Plenty of damage to put out. These tier 1 units are about to get smoked. Those missiles are landing. And they're going to move in. The Evolved Monkey knows he's going to need to deal with those Titans. Dariesta's got enough firepower to hold this other front. So Evolved Monkey moves his entire force in. He's going to try and deal with these Titans right now. More nukes being fired off. Stopped in the air. There's plenty of Umbrella left. Kind of wish I could see total nukes in stockpile. I can't actually see them though. Titans taking big hits. There's no anti-nuke here still for blue team on this side. Wait, yeah, okay, there is anti-nuke. There's a couple of Umbrellas. It's not a lot, but it might be all they need. Up at the north, completely stalled out. Sir Verdi's got some of his spider artillery right up under the cliff here. Interesting location, but these catapults are going to start laying down some hell. So those artillery are going to back off. The entire north part of the map has vacated. It is a no man's land right now. They're just building their forces. There will be another clash probably later. Dariesta, he's got some flying units. What are these? He's got a whole bunch of dragons. They're going to take out that artillery. What remains of it anyway. At the south, Dariesta and Evolved Monkeys. Large armies here. With this much anti-nuke, it's going to be up to the army of blue team to deal with this. They're not going to have enough nukes. All kinds of nukes. He says, you know what? Let's test that theory. Ring Seal fires every single nuke he has. Right at the army. Oh my god. Every single nuke gets stopped. Evolved Monkey asking Pressler, bring more antis. Get some more antis built. What's he building right now? Building some units? Some Marauders. He may switch off to anti-nuke. Evolved Monkey knows the only way they're really going to be able to deal with this army is if they land a whole bunch of nukes and another wave. A whole another wave of anti-nukes. Holy hell. There they go. And I think there's enough anti for all of them for the second wave. Evolved Monkey. Imagine being Evolved Monkey right now. He has none of his own anti-nukes. He's reliant on Pressler. How many more can they take? Some of these have 0. Some of them have... One of them has 4. I don't think he can stop a whole nother volley. If there's a full-scale volley, I think he'll only maybe take out half of them. We'll see. Oh, what in the hell? A huge fucking hit. Motzer goes down out of nowhere. What was that? I completely missed that. Was that a nuke? There's no crater. That wasn't a nuke. That might have just been a chain reaction. That was catastrophic. Motzer's economy completely leveled. They called GG. I'm gonna have to look at the replay to see what the hell happened there. Might have been a strategic bombing run. Allfox's army pulls back. There's only 3 players left. Allfox just leaves. He GG's out. Nobody's taking their stuff yet. I don't think they've realized that they're the only 3 left. The battle's still going on though. So he's got to run in. Evolved Monkey says good work. He knows that they've left, but there's still 3 players left. But that was the majority of their nuke output. It was Motzer and also... can't quite remember what their name was. Light Blue. Motzer and Light Blue, that was the main nuke output. With all the nukes gone, there would be nothing left to stop this army from coming. Still plenty of anti-nuke left, and there's virtually no nukes left. This game is pretty much over. However, at the front, they still got army to fight with, so they're still gonna fight. Might as well at least watch the closing volleys, shall we? Great teamwork by red team there. That was very good. That was a dicey situation for a long time. Losing those 2 players early on, it really looked like it was going to go poorly for them. But with a concerted effort, Evolved Monkey really the star of the show here. He ecoed up quick. He took the other player's stuff. He got his economy up quick. He was able to hold the entire bottom. Meanwhile, allowing the other 2 at the north to hold their stuff, not have to contribute too much. They're just running units into Allfox's remaining defenses, but with Allfox gone, there's nobody to control them. They're in range of the bases now. These Pulsars. The remaining Pulsars of Motzer going out. Lee calls GG. Might be the end here. I go ahead and call it here. He's still 3 minutes off from getting a Ragnarok up. There's no way. Evolved Monkey calls GG as well. However, some post-game chat here. Evolved Monkey says ridiculous game, and I have to agree. What a game. I am so happy I got to be here to cast this. I am so happy that this is the 2nd game I've ever casted. Absolute banger of a game. I will be putting this up as a full-on video. I'll have to download the VOD. It'll take a while. And then, maybe from now on I actually run the recording software as well, make sure I have all the videos. Lee, Monster, and Coley still haven't quite GG'd out. I mean, Lee GG'd, but just watching the remaining armies come. Resign Lee team. They might get forced out here, or maybe they're just gonna watch. There's votes coming in for yes. It's about over. Watch this huge force come in up here and wreck the remainder of these bases, I suppose. Camera flickers in it a bit when you zoom in and out. Okay, I'll look back at that. I'll see if I can get that solved. It's probably because I'm playing on high graphics and I'm using my graphics card to encode, so it might be that there's some conflict of generation there. Great commentary, thank you, and thank you for watching. I had a lot of fun, and I will say right now, this is one of the best games of Beyond All Reason I've ever seen. I've been spectating for quite a while, and I haven't played any ranked games of my own yet. That's going to be it for the GG there. Amazing game. We're going to take a look at the stats here. I wonder if there's a way so you can kind of... I wish I could see just the group. Wish I could see just group stats. Like, I want to see all of red team's player stats and all of blue team's stats as their own graph thing. That way I could kind of separate it out and get an idea of exactly how each team was doing. So that was a killer of a game. Red was in bad position for a while there, but they really rallied. And the nukes, the unending nuclear spam. And what's even better is that even with there was so much anti-nuke, and that's what happens a lot of times. They'll see the nukes coming, and then they'll get the anti-nuke going, and you don't really get to see a lot of nukes land. But not that game. Hell, not that game. We got to see probably a couple of dozen, maybe even up to 3 dozen nukes land that game, and more than that got stopped. Holy hell. Awesome. Awesome fucking game. Glad I got to be here to see that, and I'm glad that you guys stuck around to watch. I will be back. I mean, this was supposed to be a practice session. Because I've never casted a game live before. I've never casted a game at all. So I was just trying to get some practice in, and it ended up being an absolute killer. I look forward to putting that up on the YouTube channel. I'm excited. I'm pumped. That was great. But I gotta leave for work in half an hour. So, it ended at a good time, though, too. So, it's about time to get going. Thank you guys for watching. We'll definitely be back with more Beyond All Reason as well. Probably after the summer, because I'm going to be working constantly. I've got to clear about 8K in debt by October if I want to be debt free. So I'll be working a lot, and it's going to suck. I'm not going to have a lot of time to stream. So probably I'm just going to be doing casted games for now. I do want to start playing games on stream eventually, games other than Beyond All Reason, but I really enjoy casting. I think for at least now, that's going to be what I do. I enjoy this way too much. And of course, we will play games as well. I just put up the VOD on Twitch for my first game. It's 3 games against the AI, and they kicked my ass, but I did win. I ended on a win. Spoilers. So, I am starting to learn the game. And there will be plenty more to learn and plenty more to cast in the days to come. I will see you guys another time. As far as schedules, don't expect one. My schedule is way too variable to reliably show up at a specific day out of the week, and I'm unwilling to remove myself from from a specific day each week to do this right now. I'm more concerned with paying that debt off. So thank you guys for watching. We'll be back at some random time in the future. If you see me, stop in, say hi. I'll catch you guys on the next stream.